Hey y'all. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm back at home. You want to be in this too, baby?
I'm just so excited.
Okay, you gotta hold the camera because I can't hold it too far. Hey guys. So I wanted to tell you guys like my first impressions. I had a pre-op appointment last week where Dr. Crispin gave me a booklet. Y'all know I love booklets. To read through about everything. He has an amazing team. His nurse was so sweet, Mary Catherine. She told me she would be there for me the whole entire time. I really like the booklet because the booklet walked you to and from everything that would happen from the moment I stepped into the building this morning. And then Mary Catherine also advised me to go find the operating center, the surgery center, before I left last week. So I did that so that me and my mom would feel comfortable going this morning. So my mom came over last night and spent the night so that she'd be ready to take me in the morning. We left around 5:30 this morning because I needed to be there at 6:30. And the office is about 35 minutes away from the house. So I wanted to account time for me and her getting lost because baby, me and her together in the dark, we was led by Jesus himself. So we get there. The first thing that I do is I sign paperwork and then they hand me a bill and I tell them, oh no baby, I already paid for this. Just kidding. I had paid later yesterday, so it had not updated in the system yet. But from there, I waited maybe about 15 minutes and then they took me in the back. I gave them a urine sample for them to check to see if I was pregnant. Can y'all imagine had I been pregnant? Y'all, I had a dream last night I was pregnant too, which is crazy. Don't get no ideas. So then my main nurse takes me into and leads me into a room. I believe these are the recovery rooms. No, they aren't the recovery rooms. I guess they're the pre-op rooms. And they're the pre-op rooms. And so she they have curtains, so she closes the curtain and she just she takes my blood pressure and then she goes, are you nervous? And I was shook when she asked me that because y'all know I've had issues with blood pressure. I had preeclampsia after my C-section last year, so I was worried about my blood pressure, but I have been consistently 120 over 80 as I was before giving birth. And she's just like, no, your blood pressure is good, but your heart rate is high. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, no worries, we're gonna get you a glass of wine. And for a second I thought she meant a real glass of wine, and I was so down for the cause, but she had a good sense of humor like me. She was like, we'll give you the good stuff. So excuse me, she has me unrobe or derobe. She has me derobe and I put on, you know, the gown with the open back. She had some very sexy panties for me to put on, and she also had these suction socks and compression socks to go over them. But I have my own compression socks, but I just put on their socks. From there, the anesthesiologist came in there to come talk to me. Very nice guy. This is a different center than my doctor's office. He works in conjunction with this center, and so everyone said amazing things about him. The nurse was like, I love Dr. Crispin. Oh, I can't tell you exactly what she said because she told me not to say, but she basically confirmed that he does a lot of work for everybody. So the anesthesiologist was super nice, and I know everyone bigs up the doctor, and doctors are super important. Your anesthesiologist is important too, because baby, we'll get to that in a second. All good things. But Dr. Crispin comes in and he has the most amazing bedside manner, which is one of the reasons why I went with him for his comments. He's from the South, and I remember that because when I first went to him and I told him I was from Atlanta, he was like, oh, it's few of us around. So he walks in. Everyone in this house is throwing up. Not me, the one who had surgery, just the children.
I'm putting him up. I gotta contain it.
Okay. All right, y'all, I'm holding the camera. Not very high because I can't lift anything, and then the camera's not but 1 or 2 pounds. I feel like I look strange and maybe I look well rested, and I've never looked well rested in like 5 years. So we have a new dog. If you follow us on Instagram at Jamilla and Que, we have a new dog, which is like the most opportune time to get a dog because we're smart like that. Anyway, so from there, Dr. Crispin comes in. He has a wonderful bedside manner. He comes in, and this is like my 3rd time seeing him, because I know some people don't see their doctor until like right before surgery. I go off vibes. I live off vibes. So I like that. I had a pre-op appointment, I had a consultation and a pre-op appointment, and then, you know, the day of surgery with him. So as soon as he walks in, he kind of squeezes my foot and he asks me how I'm doing. And then before he does anything, before he lays hands on me, he always asks my permission. And of course, there's always a nurse there. My nurse, Mary Catherine, was there. And he lifts those bad things up and begins marking. And it was so funny because he says to me, and y'all know I have a wild, if you guys already follow me, y'all know I have a wild sense of humor. So I'm nervous, but I'm almost like about to laugh, because he says, you know, I've worked on some big breasts before, but yours are the biggest on a petite woman. And baby, that was just too funny. And he was just being serious, like he wasn't being funny, he was just like stating facts. That had me about to die laughing. So from there, he's like marking, and he's like serious face, ruler out. He is like a real ruler, like the one, like a leveler, and a plastic ruler, and Mary Catherine, between him and Mary Catherine. And I like that their energy together, because you could tell when two people work together a lot, because she was kind of anticipating his every move, like before he needed it, and she kind of was there. Like they understood each other's language, like it wasn't too much explaining, like they did this all the time. So that, of course, further brought me to ease. From there, he marked me up, baby. He marked me up so good. He was like, I gotta figure this thing out. He didn't say that, but I know he was like, I gotta figure this thing out. Because he had already said, because I got a bilateral, y'all, let me pretend like I know what I'm talking about. I got a bilateral reduction, the fancy word for reduction, I can't think of it right now, and a nipple free graft. So they had to take my nipple off, and he said that he had to do that so that he could get me as small as he could get, as I wanted to go. And so what that meant is he wanted to make sure that like my nerve endings, because my nipple is so far away from like my heart, my bloodstream, from me, that he wanted to make sure, you know, all of that remained intact, you know, for good healing and everything. So he marks me up, and then he was so sweet that he put my gown back on. Like, you know, some doctors, I've had very nice doctors, but you know, some doctors will kind of, you know, just because it had buttons, will kind of just throw it like, here you go. Like he was just very, very sweet. So then he leaves, and he's like, I'll see you in a second. And then my nurse comes back in, and then the nurse we want to see comes in. Nurses are your best friends too. So the nurse who was an anesthesiologist, this nurse come in, and she's like, I'm about to get you feeling good. And I was like, okay, girl. So she puts the medicine into my IV. And it was so funny, that's what everyone was saying after I got my IV done, which was, it wasn't painful, it was a little uncomfortable because of the position. They put an IV closer to my hand. Instead of, I think I've had it like maybe further at my wrist before, so it was a little out the way, but this was a little further at my hand, because you know, where the vein resides, the vein resides. So it was uncomfortable at first, but she put the medicine, and from there, they asked me a couple questions. They go over the same stuff. What's your name? What's your sign? And then they wheel me back. And from here, I was like, it was feeling a little flashbacks from when they wheeled me back for that C-section. And because I've had the C-section and I was awake during that whole surgery, that's all that I knew. That was my baseline. So they wheeled me back into the OR, and I wasn't as scared this time as I was when I had my C-section. If you guys haven't seen me talk about my C-section, I'll link it down below. So the operating room was giving me real like Grey's Anatomy feels. There was 2 nurses already in there getting to work. And then on the side, I see my pictures. And you know, I see my breasts from like eye level, from my level. Seeing a picture of my breasts, I was like, oh, them is some big things, yo. So that gave me further encouragement, like, girl, You've been lugging bags, lady. You've been lugging some things. It's time to lay your bags down, lay your burdens down. I'm still on medication. So from there, they get me very close to the operating table. They prop me up. They kind of help me get up on the operating table. And the next thing I know, I'm being woken up, being taken out of my hospital gown, being put on my pajamas because I came in pajamas, and wheeled out to my mama. Baby, I can't tell you a thing that happened after I laid my head down on the operating table. It was done. It was curtains. And I kept saying, Ma, I closed my eyes and I woke back up. That literally, I closed my eyes and woke back up. And everybody kept saying, like, the IV is the worst part. You got the worst part out the way. You got the worst part out the way. And my nerves and my anxiousness was saying, I'm about to have a whole surgery. What you mean? I don't remember a thing. So my mom later tells me that she had been waiting. She had kind of gone out and went to a coffee shop. There was a coffee shop in the area, so I guess she had walked over to the coffee shop. Somebody started calling her at the 3.5 hour mark looking for me. And they were about to call up to the center.
Set it off.
And ask where their wife was. But I probably had forgot to tell them about the recovery period, because I knew that it was a 3.5 hour, but I think I was in recovery for about 1.5 hours, and that's just when they're monitoring your vitals and everything. Then my mom tells me that Dr. Crispin calls her. Quiet on set. She tells me that Dr. Crispin calls her and that he sounded very excited about my breast, and he was very like, he sounded very good about, okay, you did a good job. Like, he did a good job. So then she said she walks back in. Oh, she had also told me when she walked back into the facility to come get me, everyone from the front was like, and everyone was there was just super nice, was like, oh, she looks so good, she did so good, she did so good. I guess they said, like, this is a Guinness World Record. Like, baby, we had to all go check her out and see what she was dealing with, because I guess everybody had taken a peek. So yeah, and then my mom brought me home. I had a little soup and I stayed up for a little bit. I kept trying to go to sleep, but there was a lot of people talking around me and children talking. No, so when Sequina, so mommy gets me out the car, and as soon as Sequina sees me, she opens up my jacket, and what did you say?
You look so good.
And what did I say?
You're too loud.
I said, you bitchs need to get me inside the house. Because it was a little cold. So I asked them if we could all save our excitement till we got inside the house. And so then they were kind of pushing me to the side, like kind of just looking for themselves, because of course, like, it used to be some girls like out to here, and then now we looking a little, you know, a little. And it wasn't until I had got up to use the bathroom for the first time, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, because even right here, like, I'm used to like right here just protruding, like it's just like it's a whole difference. And now I can also see my belly real good too.
All right, tell them bye, girl. You hit the 15-minute mark.
I'm at 13 minutes and 54 seconds. So guys, I wanted to give you a play-by-play as I remembered it immediately, straight from surgery. I'm just a couple of hours. It's 6:21 right now. I got home at like 1:30, so I've had enough time to eat twice and to take a nap, and I'm about to take another nap now. The girls are home, they're good. Babe has the girls, and I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm in pain. I feel wrapped up like a sausage. I feel like a little Tootsie Roll. What you looking at?
Camera, Sony. Oh, clearance button. The royal family was
This don't have nothing to do with surgery, but let me tell y'all something real quick. I've been telling Sequina that we need to upgrade our camera, because the Canon G7 is still undefeated, but baby, we're a little far removed from a Canon G7. Like, we need to like give y'all a little upgrade, a little lighting, a little. And she told me we didn't need one. And then Clarence from Clarence TV and what's Queen Naja's?
It's the
y'all know
the royal family.
The royal family. Got almost the exact same camera I said that I wanted, because shout out to Ebony from Team 2 Moms. They got a Sony camera and she had been showing me, so that was the one that I wanted. And then now she looking like she got her Best Buy pulled up and looking. All right, y'all. Total, I feel good. My pain and discomfort is about a 3-4. I just took a hydrocodone and it hasn't kicked yet, so I'm waiting on this hydrocodone to kick in. I usually don't like hydrocodone, so if I get to itching, I will be calling Dr. Crispin and Mary Catherine, and they are available 24 hours, which I really appreciate. So yeah, guys, I got my breast reduction. Who knew? You got anything to say, baby?
I got a whole brand new. Cut it.